God is a necessary figment of man's imagination. So answered my father to a confirmation class assignment to define God in a classroom just down the hall. He was promptly tossed out of that confirmation class until his Hebrew school, religious school teaching father, my grandfather, Albert Reckler of blessed memory, marched him from Aylard soda fountain back to the class, telling the teacher, "We're Jews, we question God." That same grandfather was the one who shepherded these glorious stained glass windows from their overseas production location back to Denver to be installed in this beautiful sacred space. That same grandfather whose casket later sat right there for his funeral. My motherhood was sisterhood president and part of the group who needle-pointed these pulpit chairs. My husband and I stood under the chuppah right there. My son stood right here when he became bar mitzvah, the same place I stood when I became bat mitzvah some 36 years prior. It was a temple trip with Rabbi and not yet then Senator Foster that I first went to Israel and became a proud Zionist. My first of 8 visits and counting. Temple is intertwined with the legacy of my family's life, my Jewish identity, and my sense of responsibility for our community. Each of you has your own connection to Temple. More or less involved, more or less tenured, regardless, you have a connection. You are here today on this most holiest of days, when our souls are laid bare and judged, and we are each asked how we can be better, how we can do better. Tefillah, teshuvah, tzedakah, prayer, repentance, and giving avert the severe decree. Knowing that those who came before me took their time and their resources to build this incredible congregation, both its physical space and even more so what it is to our Temple community, our Denver community, and beyond, is why I said yes when I was asked to serve as a co-chair for the 150th celebration and campaign, and why my husband Rich joined me. And yes was something that my dear friends Judy Altenberg and Bruce Plotkin and Leslie and Mark Seidel also said. I'm guessing about now you're saying to yourselves, we were told the 150th celebration was over. This is a bait and switch. Why is this woman up here? But hear me out, because I don't want you to miss out on this. In the quiet phase of the campaign, 100 incredibly generous Temple families committed almost $11 million. $11 million. Rich and I, and Judy and Bruce, and Mark and Leslie are among those families. Now, Temple has 2,000 families in our community. At this participation rate, we can raise about another $200 million from those remaining 1,900 families. You can check me, I did the math. But in all seriousness, if we could raise at least another $2 million from those 1,900 families, we would be doing what 150 years of Temple families did for us. They did their part in securing the future. The purpose of this campaign is to begin to secure our next 150 years through an endowment to help fund our congregation's ever-growing needs and opportunities, including funding needed improvements to our almost 70-year-old building. Typically, a synagogue of our size would have at least 50% more clergy to provide pastoral care, teaching, community leadership, advocacy, and more. And frankly, just so the clergy wouldn't have to work extended hours 7 days a week. They won't tell you this, but I will. This team is stretched too thin, it's simply not just, and it's not sustainable. More importantly, it limits what we can accomplish. Our almost 70-year-old building is also stretched too thin. There is work we need to do to change and maintain our physical space. Wendy Nekritz, our intrepid president, previewed this for all of you in her remarks on Rosh Hashanah. And then she wrote each of you a letter, and she wrote one to me too. And in it, she enclosed a card talking about the 150th campaign and how you can participate. And today, when you walked in, you received this card. Another way to participate. Please use them. With the money we are raising, we are addressing all of this for Temple. You can be a part of addressing this and building this. We are creating a culture of philanthropy to ensure that we continue to sustain and enhance our temple. Please consider your part in this campaign. This is our synagogue, our temple. This is not the only place that tefillah, teshuvah, tzedakah, prayer, repentance, and giving exist, but it is certainly a place from which they emanate, so someone 150 years from now can stand on this bima and acknowledge what we all did to ensure the future for them. Please think about your role in this 150th campaign. Please join me and those other 99 families in enhancing our present and securing our future. Every single gift makes a difference. And how special would it be if every single family in our temple community chose to participate in whatever amount? And this is a time to stretch if you are able. We can do this together. Gamar Chatima Tova.